Video to show you how I build pipeline in Unity across the different app stores. And I'm doing this just as much for myself as for you because under these build settings, I forget a lot of things when it comes to A to Z, how to get your Unity app out to iOS, Windows, and Android. So I'm going to try to cover all of those. So just real quick, first thing, this is Unity. Hopefully you're familiar with it. The first thing you do when you test, of course, is you go ahead and hit the play button and you see if your app's even working within the Unity player. Now, just because your app's working within the Unity player doesn't mean that by the time you get it out to the App Store, it's going to work the same. So let me show you the pipeline. So um, let's build iOS first. Um, So if you click on any of these and you don't have this type of stuff, like for instance Android, I haven't downloaded that, it'll have a download page you can click, so that module gets loaded into Unity. But moving on beyond that, so iOS, um, just the main thing that I think I want to remember on this pipeline is, click that. Typically you hit switch platform. That takes like a minute or two. And then it comes back and the little Unity icon moves from here to here. But I'm not going to switch because honestly, I'm just going to hit player settings, and over in the player settings, I've got a lot of things set up. Company name, product name, some resolution options. But basically, what I want to come down to, and you have to set all this up the first time, your icons and things like that. But the main setting I want to remind you of is under other settings. Let me zoom in to show you that. Okay, other settings, and this is it right here. Your build identifier. This is something lengthy that you have to go through and set up in the iOS store. I'm not showing you that. I'm just showing you how I build each time. But once you have that established, the thing I most often forget to do is change my version. So mainly you just have to come in here each time I want to click this up. If I don't click it up and I go to the next step, it'll get real upset and say, hey, you've already done that version. So this is real important to take and change that version. Where I'm at right now, I feel comfortable doing a stable runtime version of .NET 3.5. API compatibility level. I didn't realize this was set to subset. I think I want this on .NET Full 2.0. I'll have to go back and review that. I didn't catch that. But the scripting backend, there's Mono, which is put out to make the .NET run across all things, and then there's IL2CPP. That means interpretive language to C++. And so this seems to be what Unity's pushing. So these are my settings. And you know what? These settings did work on my iPad. I literally tested it. So maybe this is what I need. But there's those settings. And basically, don't forget to click forward your build. So once I do that for my iOS build, you would probably switch to iOS and hit build. And there's a lengthy process. But I'm going to show you Unity Cloud build for this particular step. I find it easier to do this cloud side. So developer.cloud.unity3d.com, they have a cloud service that you can sign up for. It's about $9. So here's my cloud builds. And so when you go to config a cloud build, you can set up a new target. And basically, I've set up two targets. One is I created signing credentials that are ad hoc. And the reason I do that is because if I run this build, it will generate what's called an IPA file, and it will have created it with some signing credentials that are not made for the store, but they're made to test on your device. So that's really great. So that's my ad hoc iOS build. And so when I check into source tree, like any tiny change, like this one where I where I bumped up my version number, and then I committed that. Check, put those up there and committed it. That in my cloud build, I have it set to automatically fire off a cloud build every time I check in for iOS ad hoc. What that allows me to do is to take one of these ad hocs. I go over to my Mac. I physically plug in a connection cable between my iPad and my Mac, and I fire up iTunes, and I simply go to my browser on my Mac, download this IPA file, and physically drag it. Once this is downloaded, take this file, drag it on to your phone or to your iPad, and it will install the app and you can run it. So it's not too bad once you get everything set up. So every time I build, I just click it forward, I check it in, it builds an ad hoc, I can do my testing. When I'm satisfied with that, then what I do is I start up the App Store credential one, and it will do the same build but for the App Store. And then I download this official App Store IPA app, and you have to do this part on a Mac. You have to download this on your Mac, but I have some screenshots here of what it looks like. There is a program called Application Loader on your Macintosh. So it's called Application Loader. Okay, that's the app you want to run on your Macintosh. It comes with Xcode, but you can get it separately. Okay, and then you're going to notice my cursor is going nuts. I'm trying to show you what the application loader looks like. But I can't get, okay. Let's see if I can get my cursor back. Hold on. Got the pictures right here. All right. So, all right, so okay, trying to show you that. So that's application loader. You'll come to a screen that looks like this. Okay, this is what the application loader is, and you're going to want to hit the choose button, which will bring up a file menu. And that file menu, you need to go grab the file that this is. It'll be like iOS number 19.ipa, and you'll download that, or you'll upload that from the choose button. Okay. And then the next thing you'll see is a screenshot like this. Nope, sorry. Screenshot like this. Basically saying, hey, we're uploading your virtual assets to the store. See, this is the file that I uploaded. It'll look like that. So you'll see something like that, but it'll be your version, and you'll just wait for that, and then you'll hit next, and then you'll see this, right? It'll be uploaded package to the App Store, and then there's just a little bit of a waiting time while it digests that, and that does not publish your app. I guess the final thing you'll see is this. It's basically like, hey, it's been successfully added to the App Store, but you're not done. You're not done when you get to that step. Okay, so that's the app loader step. Now, once you have your test build done and you're happy, then once you have your actual store signed credentials, it's much more complex if you don't want to build this in the cloud. But you need a Mac. You basically have Unity build your Xcode project. You get that Xcode project over to your Mac, and that's what this Unity Cloud Build's doing for you. So do it how you want. But then you get it up in the app loader, and then you need to go to your Apple developer account. So I'm going to zoom in real quick for you here. Developer.apple.com is where you want to go. You're going to want to hit your account button and sign in. Okay. You have to put your credentials in probably. And then this this initial thing is all the painful stuff where you do all your certificates so it knows that you can test on your iPad and your original setup for all your certs for your store and things like that. I'm not going through that, but I want to go to the App Store Connect. So I'm going to go to the App Store Connect, and it's like this, like appstoreconnect.apple.com. I guess you could have just gone there directly. Looks like this. App Store Connect, apple.com. Okay. And then right here is where I want to remind you, there's a lot of times you won't notice this at first. You have to come into your agreements. Often there'll be like a little red symbol. Your app won't publish unless you're up to date on your agreements. So come into your agreements now and then, and just and make sure there's no things that you need to view and accept. So I think I'm probably all good, yeah, on my agreements. So they look okay. But that's a gotcha right there. Like they just update those so often. What you want to do is go into my apps. And so typically now that we've got the raw binaries up, the IPA through the app loader, jump through all those hoops, right? And we got our new version we want to publish. Here's the step you need to do to finally publish it to the store. Give it a second. Now this App Store Connect, I think it only works in Firefox and Chrome. I think I've had some bad luck in other browsers. So here's my app. It's in the store, right? 1.4.14. Well, I've got a new version I actually want to publish today. Okay, so if you need to change your app information, right? You can click here. Now, the first time you do an app, there's an annoying amount of screenshots you have to provide. I'm not going over that. Let's assume you've done all that. But, yep. So what I'm looking for is, yeah, okay. I'm looking for my little updated quip. But anyway, here's pricing and availability, just to show you real quick. So you can plan a price change, and basically what I've got is from July 19th to August 30th, I've got a sale going on. So my app is a paid app, but you can run sales. You have to be careful if you originally publish your app as a free app. A lot like on Droid, once it's a free app, you're not going back. So instead, I just run sales, right? And I can just keep planning a price change and extending that so people will try my app. Okay, but what we really want to do is add a new version or platform. That's the key here. Let's add a new iOS. Okay, 1.14.31. That's what I'm up to. Okay, and I'm going to prepare this for submission. So, okay, here's the what's new in this version. M19 fixed a bug found last week. I had a big bug I had to fix. Individual card stats. All right. So I don't need to. Let's change this. Individual card stats. Whatever that means to people. Okay. So basically, I want to save this, but I want to update my package. Let me find where that is. Let's see. So my package is. Oh, here we go. Select a build. So you see right here, we're going to select a build, and it says submit your build using Xcode or application loader. So we already did that, and so because I already did that, look at this version. 1.4.31 is waiting for me, and I'm going to click done. Okay. That's pretty much. Oh, there is another step. There is another step. Okay. I'm going to automatically release this version. Oh, you get a chance to like blow away your ratings or not. I think that's so funny. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, so we're going to submit for review. So it's this button up at the top. Let me zoom in here. You see that button right there? I've saved it. I've got everything I needed. There's no errors, and I'm going to submit for review. But we're not done yet. Okay, there are a couple of scary questions. Okay, let me show you why they're scary. So, have you made any changes in encryption? No changes in encryption. The advertising identifier, it basically says if you get this wrong, they'll forever remove your binary from the store. So I always say yes. I use an ad identifier, even though I don't use it for anything, just in case my code. Let me zoom in a little bit better. So I just say yes to that, and then there's some other things that says what, why do you use this in the app? And so I always check. I usually just check that. I don't know if that's right or wrong, right? And then you agree that you're not going to be a bad, you're not going to constantly, spam their window where they can't get out of it or something like that. But I just basically own up and say, yeah, I'm using ads, and I click one of those. This one doesn't feel safe. I don't check that one. I just check that one or that one. And then I submit. So just like that, I know I went a little slow on that, but that's the whole pipeline for submitting your app to the Apple Store. And basically now it's a waiting game. So right here it says waiting for review. It will update you as it's finally approved maybe 2 days from now, right? Your first app will take longer. So there we go. That was the pipeline that I do for iOS builds. Okay, not too bad. And so let's move to the next pipeline. Okay, so real quick, I'm not actually going to show Android right now. Unfortunately, I don't have the Android pipeline. You know what? I can kind of show it. So you would have settings right here that says whether it's debug or release, and then you go to player settings for Android, and you would set some similar things. Notably, you're going to have a bundle identifier. You're going to have a version you need to click forward. But notably, you're going to have signing credentials right here, because you're not doing it in Unity Cloud Build. If you're doing it in Unity Cloud Build, you'd have your signing credentials set up in Unity. But basically, you've got to remember to make sure you type your password in for those signing credentials. There's 2 places you do it. And you just say build, and ultimately what you're going to get is an APK. Let me show you what I mean by that. So I downloaded one. So basically you're going to get you're going to get whatever you wanted to have called it, .apk. And you can just email this to yourself. Open your email window up in your phone so you can download this APK to your phone. You could also plug your phone in USB and drag it over, whatever. But just get this APK onto your Droid phone, and when you open it, it will automatically say, oh, hey, this is an APK. Would you like me to install this? It's so easy to share your APK with people, to share it with yourself, and to test your app out. Once you're satisfied, and so I love that about the pipeline with Google. Once you're satisfied that it works, you come over to play.google.com/apps publish. So let me zoom in on that. So can you see that URL? play.google.com/apps.publish. Let me go into that and log in with your credentials. So you'll be taken to your dashboard, And so here's my current game that's actually live. This is after you've already created your initial app. And basically what you're after is release management. Okay. And so I'm pretty sure, like, so this is my current release. I think if you go to manage, you can create a new release. So if I were to create a new release, okay, 2 steps: prepare it, roll it out. And these things can be published in like 30 minutes. Okay, so basically you would just go browse your APK file. That is on your downloads, right? Just like that. You would open it up. I kind of don't want to, well, I'll do it. This is not something I actually want to release. Oh wow, it's going really slowly. Yeah. Anyway, so that will basically go up and it'll say, we're going to deactivate your last release, and then we're going to replace it with this. I like it. You just put what's new in your release right there, and off you go. You save it, and then you basically hit a button to publish it, and you're pretty much done with Google. that's about all there is to it. Okay. Now I'm sure you're supposed to be doing some kind of beta thing where you roll it out to your people or whatever, but I don't know. I just test. Um, of course, there are tons of interesting ways to get stats and stuff like that on your thing, but this is just how to publish. So anyway, that's pretty much it for Google. I'm a little sad I'm actually uploading the wrong APK, but I'll just come back and delete this so I don't accidentally release that. But anyway, that's pretty much it is for Google. So simple. Now for Windows, right? So you would go switch platform to Windows. You've got some very interesting choices about what you want to do. I believe I found XAML has been working for me. If not, you can go to D3D. All these choices matter. Okay, so here's my latest SDK. This is working for me, and yeah. So that's what that portion of it looks like. And then over in the player settings, right, this is very pretty critical over here. So you'll see here, right? This is when you click this is iOS. When you click this is Windows. Once you have Droid installed, each one of these will have its own symbol that you can click. But basically, this is highlighted. This is how you can tell. See, iOS is highlighted. You're editing iOS. Click that. You're editing the settings for Windows. So basically, you have to have your icons and all your things like that. Some resolution choices and some icons set up. Sure, but here's the important stuff. Here's what's been working for me. Zoom it over here. So once again, I went with a stable .NET 3.5 runtime version. Backend, I was trying .NET at first. I didn't have luck. There are some articles on how to do that. If I can ever figure out how to do it, I want to do it because the compile time is very long on this translating it to C++. The API compatibility level, strangely enough, I like cranking it all the way up to 4.6. That's been working for us. That's different than the runtime version. Okay, right? So this is the actual setup. The input managers are quite strange, like the multi-line input managers. So I've been trying these, but this is the more stable one. And I don't want to restart. And so we're just going with that. Finally, now strip engine code. This is the killer, right? It tries, if you're trying to do reflection or anything like that, I'll show you what you have to do for that. Otherwise, it tries to make your code smaller and strip stuff out it thinks you're not using. This other stuff doesn't matter too much to me. Publishing settings, and this is important as well. So here's where you really describe your packages. The version won't be very important here. You can keep clicking it up if you want. But in a minute, I'll show you where we click our version up. You're going to need your certificate signed right there. Boom. Actually, I guess you need that. Yeah. So that is, and we're using compilation override. Use .NET Core, not partial. That matters, I think, in some regular expression stuff you might try to do. Input source core window. Once again, I'm going to experiment with all these because I'm finding some bugs in the multi-line editor. But anyway, that's what works. So what you do is very important here. It's a little counterintuitive. So after you get all those settings right, you build, okay? And when you build, you're going to pick a folder. Like I just do UWP1, and I build the same folder again and again and again. Okay, so let's say I built that. It would take, on the screen, it would take it maybe 2 minutes to build. All right, at that point, your UWP or your Universal Windows program is not done, and it's definitely not published to the store. That's just step one. Just like Unity Cloud Build was doing it for iOS, they don't have a build for UWP yet. I'm going to be very excited when they do. But basically, I built to this folder, and I'll show you next up. Let's see, output. Okay, here's the folder I built to. You will see a solution file. So open that up. And so you got a lot of steps to do from here. And it takes a long time. A long time. Okay, so once you get your app up, it's going to bring you to the package app manifest. And that is basically the package app manifest for your project. Now, in your solution, you're going to notice this interpretive language C++ output project. That's the thing that takes a long time to build. It basically takes this project here, builds that project, and then builds some kind of ultimate thing. So anyway, you got to have all your stuff in here, right? You got to have, sorry, scrolling kind of fast, right? You have all your information about what you're going to do. Very important, you're going to have your packaging. You must flip this forward. When you actually go to build for the master store, it'll ask if you want to flip it forward. That's fine too. Your virtual assets are really important. These are basically your tiles. So basically you have to get an icon together, and you're going to want to put like 12.5 to 15% padding around the edges around your icon, because these are the guidelines. I've actually had an app rejected because my icons weren't perfect. So build an invisible border, go select that app icon from your assets folder or whatever you got, and do not apply the recommended padding. Hit generate, and it will take that one icon image and it will make all these icons for you. Okay, it's tons and tons of icons. What you want to do is look through these icons and make sure there's no red X's because they're too big. I use PNGOO, and I run anything that's too large and it shrinks it down and they still look beautiful. So that's a step you need to do. And once you've got those, you can just leave them alone, okay? So there's a couple of important things to do here. So number one, you're going to, actually, first of all, okay, debugging. Okay, if you want to debug, you just hit build, rebuild solution, right? Now this will take, I'm not going to do it right now, it takes 5 minutes for me to rebuild my solution. Now the first time I ever did it, took 25-30 minutes. But since I'm publishing to the same folder and I'm keeping all the previous stuff and I just do a rebuild for debug, it'll only take about 5 minutes to build steps 1 and 2. After it's done, at the bottom, I wait for it to stop freaking out and to kind of read all the files that it just created, calms down, and it says all succeeded. Then you hit the debug on your local machine. Now it's going to try to start you on ARM, and this is not an ARM machine, so don't forget, when you go to debug, you're going to do x64, click start, and then you only have to wait about a minute. It realizes everything's compiled. Your app will pop up, and you can do your testing. Now, very important, when you want to move from testing to the store, most people go, oh, I'm gonna make a release, right? This is wrong, right? This is not what you want. When you're ready to do something for the store, you go master. You're the master of your program. Master is very different. Yeah, so I just do x64. I don't do ARM or x86. I think it still makes them all. Anyway, here's the important step. Let me zoom in real quick here. So here you are over in your Solution Explorer on this project. I'm going to right click. You see this choice says store. So the first thing you need to do is associate this app build with the store. The second thing we're going to do is create the master app packages. So I'm going to go ahead and click associate app with the store. I'm going to zoom back out for you guys. So it says yada yada yada. Just hit next. Okay. And so I have a couple apps that I named in the store and reserved. This is the app that I want it to grab. Don't freak out that it says none right here, because when you click next, it identifies all those important package names, and you associate. You click the associate button. Okay, that's step 1. And just make sure you've either click forward. I think it clicks forward in just a second. So I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to go to the store, and I'm going to create app packages, right? This is, well, I don't want to do it. It takes 20 minutes, right? But you're going to create app packages. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Do you have to answer? Okay, yeah, you got to answer something. So basically, I want to create app packages as the user. So you should be logged in, by the way, as that user. This is my user up here in the upper right-hand corner here, right? This user. That's so weird. I thought that user was my MTG super user. I like to be logged in all as the same users, but basically, yeah, you say you associate it, create app packages. You say yes, and I think, oh, okay, good. I'm glad I'm showing you this. I was afraid to hit it. So here's where it automatically increments. It's gonna bump me up, but this is really important. This is really important. Oh, and here's where you determine, are you going to make one for ARM, x64, x86? Yeah, I'll leave them all checked. Just wait, if you got that type of device, you're good to go. This is super important right here. Generate app bundle always. Don't go with the if needed. It has messed me up so many times. And so when you do all this, app bundle always, you click it forward or manually move it forward, you hit create. Now that's going to take, oh my gosh, it's going to take 25-30 minutes. But on the disk, when it gets done, what you're going to have is this folder that your solution was in. It's going to create one called app packages at the same level. Okay, just dive in, just keep digging into it. This is what you're looking for. Some blah, 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 blah version, all the checkboxes that you're building for bundle, master.appx upload. Right there. That's the one. So if you can't find it on your machine, search for like starmaster.appx upload, and you should find it. Okay, zoom back out here. So you've done your testing, you've done your build, and now you're ready to go tackle the Windows store. Now, once again, I'm not showing you how to set it all up at first, but once you set it up right, you're going to have your app here. You may not say continue submission for your first one, but say start submission or something. So basically, I'm going to go to my app that I just built the master Apex bundle for, which is the only format that it takes. So if you already have a submission and you want to view its progress, just click view progress. Let's go look at it. I know this is going to take days. So I'm going to show you the pre-processing step. This part you're just waiting for. And then this part, after they say, okay, we like your app, and that's where it can get rejected for your icons even not being right or whatever. And then it takes another couple hours and it's published to the store. But let's go back. Let's look over the pre-processing step. So basically, right here, I believe it would say create new submission. And that's how you would get to that. Let me see if I can show you this because this one's in progress. Maybe I'll use, let's see if I can use an app that I'm not using. This app right here. So submission 1. Yeah, here's one that's sort of in progress. Okay. It's mainly packages, right? I mean, the first time you've got all this, like, you have to certify what your age rating is. You have to fill out all these steps the first time for your app. But basically, you're just updating probably your package. So we're going to go to packages. And once again, this is where you would drag your master Apex bundle. You would literally drag that onto there. I'm not going to do it because it's so large. It's 300 meg because I built for each of these, and they're each 100 meg, so they're just ridiculous. Anyway, so that's basically where you update your package when you want to, and you would save that, and then your store listings is where you change the language of your, you basically go to store. Here, I'll go to the other app. I have, sorry, I'm jumping around here. It's just hard to show you one in progress. It's already in progress. All right, so submission 9, right? If I had wanted to change the language, so where do you change what your app talks about, right? So under store language, you click English or whatever language, and that's like the only place that takes you to where you can talk about what your app does. So okay, I can't change any of this because the submission's in progress, but this is where you'd put what's new, the normal description that you have day after day, your app tags, right? Your screenshots and all that kind of stuff. So really, I go into store language English to say what's new, and I go to package, and then there's a submit button, and then like I showed you, it'll go from, okay, it's submitted and it's waiting to be certified, which takes days. It could take, I don't know, at least 3 to 4 business days at this point, maybe 5. So that's what you do to publish the Windows apps. And I think that covers it. That's basically the pipeline. You can do sales as well. You can get analytics. You can see what's going on. So there we go. I guess that concludes my stream. I hope that helps someone remember how to do any of this. I could probably do a better stream, do it quicker, but man, I don't want to forget any of this stuff, and I don't want you to forget this stuff. So there you go. All done.